God Valley is finally here, everyone. It has been a long time coming, but we are finally getting a flashback to God Valley. Of course, it's being shown to us through the narration from Loki, so technically speaking, it's not a first-person view of it, but that's kind of how it's being presented either way. Honestly, throughout this whole flashback, Rox has been presented in a much more sympathetic light than I had expected at first. Of course, we knew that most of the info we had about him and about God Valley in general was propaganda in one form or another, but I thought it would probably have at least a bit more truth to it. But instead, the entire reason Rox is on God Valley in the first place is to go save his family. That's the entire reason he came there. He is unequivocally a good guy in this scenario. Meanwhile, the celestial dragons continue to become more and more unforgivably evil every single time we see them, and this most recent chapter shows that in a big way. They are toying with lives, murdering children. It is a bad, bad time. Gunko is present, and I think that Emu is very likely to make an appearance through her, considering how impactful God Valley is and what little we know about how it's going to end. Dragon is finally doing things, and I think it's quite impactful how he is able to indirectly save his son several times over through his actions in this chapter. By saving the lives of just a few children on this island, he has, unbeknownst to himself, been indirectly responsible for them saving Luffy's life many times over. Ivankov, Kuma, and Shanks have been instrumental in both the work of the Revolutionary Army and of the Straw Hats. This chapter also goes a long way to inform what we see of Dragon's philosophy in the future, particularly when it comes to Luffy. Children are all over this island, and Dragon is seeing how much they can be exploited by people who wish their parents harm. This is, of course, a major turning point for Dragon, and one he knows that he won't be able to come back from. He is, at this point, a full-fledged Marine, the son of Garp, a high-up official in the Marines. And he's on God Valley against the direct orders of his superiors. On top of all that, he tranquilized a celestial dragon, for goodness sake. That isn't something you come back from easily. But he made that choice to try and make a difference. He's only able to save a few people, but those he does save are going to be huge players in the future, unbeknownst to him. At the end of the chapter, Garp makes an appearance, ready to back up the Holy Knights in their fight against the pirates. We know he's really only here because of Roger and Rox, but we need to see how he's coping with all this. Garp is generally a pretty good guy, and that doesn't exactly make sense for a man helping the ruling class to hunt people for sport. I expect that at some point during these chapters we're going to see him grapple with that, and we really need that. In order for the strength of his character to be maintained, I think we need to see some kind of emotion coming from him about this. As for my predictions moving forwards, I actually agree with the theory that Rox is going to get Dami reversied by Emu through Gunko, then forcing Garp and Roger to team up and beat him together. I wonder if the two of them might actually end up protecting Blackbeard from his own father during that fight, but that might be a long shot. The relationships between parents and their children has been a pretty clear theme in these recent chapters, and I'm interested to see all the ways that plays out. There are some very different parent-child relationships on display here between Figurland Garling, Rox, Garp, not to mention the kind of parental relationship that will develop between Shanks and Roger. It'll be interesting to see those parallels develop and how they'll be used in the conclusion of the flashback in God Valley. There's also a lot of potential for those parallels in the present-day goings-on in One Piece on Elbaf, where a bunch of children are still being led to their deaths while their parents get injured and fight giant nightmare creatures. Because we still have to remember that's happening right now. Going back to God Valley, I think that Dragon is probably going to have to escape the island with the Roger pirates, as there is absolutely no way that leaving with the Marines is going to be feasible for him anymore. Garp will likely allow this, despite orders he receives from higher up, and Shanks will be left with the Roger pirates for protection. Figurland Garling is probably going to try and get him back, and he's going to need very strong people to prevent that from happening. I also want to see Buggy show up, because we know he joins the crew at a similar time. Maybe Buggy's just one of these kids kicking around on the island right now, and he just gets picked up on the way out. Maybe he accidentally gets swapped out with Shamrock. Who knows? I want to see him, though. With that all being said, though, I mean, I'm very excited to see how this is going to end. Everything past this most recent chapter is completely in the dark for us. We don't know what happened to conclude this event. But Rox is going to die. That's all we know. Let me know down in the comments. Let me know in the comments down below if you have any thoughts about what's going to happen to conclude this. Is there anyone else on this island you want to see? What do you think about the new designs for the Holy Knights? I think they're pretty cool. In any case, while you're down there, I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe, hit the like button, maybe hit the notification bell as well if you want to be notified of my next video in 2 weeks. It really, really helps me out in the algorithm, and I very much appreciate every one of you who's subscribing. With that being said, I hope I will see you all back here in 2 weeks with my next video. Bye!